For more on all this, let's bring in Gustavo Ribeiro, founder and editor-in-chief at the Brazilian Report. Gustavo, thank you for joining us. As the dust settles, what are your preliminary comments and conclusion on what's going on, not only in Venezuela, but in the region and beyond?
Well, I think it's still too early to draw conclusions. There are many questions that remain unknown, a lot of uncertainty going on. But what we can say right now is that Delcy Rodriguez, the vice president, was declared the interim president by the Venezuelan Supreme Court. And she gave statements trying to project the image that she's running things, that she has the backing of military leaders. And I mean, she projected defiance to the U.S., but even among U.S. officials, the perception is that these words were more directed to the inward public, to Venezuelans, rather than a true defiance of Washington. If we take Donald Trump's words face value, what the U.S. is trying to do is to get Delcy Rodriguez to play ball with Washington and to do what the Trump administration wants. Otherwise, it has heavily implied that she would face the consequences, including a possible second incursion of U.S. military in Venezuela.
At the same time, many capitals across Latin America have stated, have said something, and not only presidents or national leaders, but also the leadership around them in many countries. How do you think this is going to play out, you know, in the greater concert of politics in Latin America?
Well, we have seen a reflection of political divisions within Latin America. We have seen left-wing leaders very strong in their opposition and their condemnation for this attack, whereas many right-wing leaders have celebrated it. In Brazil, for instance, presidential hopefuls who want to challenge President Lula, left-wing president, have said that this was an act of liberation, regardless whether this was a blatant violation of international law. Because the thing is, many of these politicians are playing to please voters. And let's remember that Venezuela is a major talking point for right wings across Latin America. Many look at liberal politics and say, well, these will make our country a new Venezuela. This has been a big talking point for years here. And even in the US, Trump has used this recently. What we're seeing now is this discourse that, well, among the right, Maduro was bad, he had to go no matter what, and the left defending the preservation of international law. In the case of Brazil, for instance, many have pointed out to the fact that Lula, while following Brazilian tradition of defending the international rule of law, has been inconsistent because he was not that adamant in condemning Vladimir Putin of his invasion of Ukraine.
At the same time, we have a humanitarian reality in Venezuela, and this may very well only make it worse. How are Latin American countries bracing, preparing for maybe another wave of migration from Venezuela?
Yes, I mean, if I may, just before, what we're hearing from Venezuela is that the main preoccupation on Venezuelans' minds is, will there be more bombings? Will food become scarce? Like, how is their day-to-day life is going to be in this next few days and weeks? And like you said, that many countries are bracing for a possible wave of migration. Gustavo Petro in Colombia has mobilized troops towards the border. Brazil has not done the same, but it has been actively monitoring a border that stretches across over 2,000 kilometers. I'm sorry, I don't know how much is in miles, but it's a massive border, very porous border, a forest area, very difficult to control. And immigration has become a major point in domestic politics in several countries because of the massive exodus of Venezuelans that we have seen over the past decade. In Chile, that was one of the main talking points of José Antonio Cast, the president-elect. In Ecuador, in Peru, I'm sorry, the same thing. And even in northern Brazil, Brazil is not a country that has any immigration issues, but in the north of Brazil, where we saw an influx of Venezuelans, of more than 600,000 Venezuelans since 2017, that has become a big point in national politics. And let's remember that many countries in Latin America are about to see elections. We have elections in Colombia, in Brazil, in Peru, only to stay in South America.
Absolutely. Gustavo Ribeiro, thank you very much for your time and insights.
Thank you.